If you've been anywhere near football social media in the last week, you already know. The vibe around this World Cup has shifted big time. This isn't just your usual post-match grumbling. Ever since Argentina's wild round of 16 escape against Egypt, the internet has gotten louder, angrier, and more chaotic than almost anything else we've seen this tournament. Like overnight, the narrative completely flipped. Neutrals who were happily cheering on Messi's last dance are suddenly turning on Argentina. Timeline are absolutely flooded with rigged tournament takes and this massive wave of anti-Argentina sentiment, building from fans who don't even have skin in the game. But where is this actually coming from? Is it just the internet doing what it does best, or has FIFA actually built a tournament structure and a pattern of refereeing moments that make this kind of blowout inevitable? Let's look at what actually happened, not just to Argentina. Now, I'll give you the quick version since the graphic got the play by play. Against Egypt, Argentina were down early on off of Ibrahim's header. They then got a penalty, which was saved by the goalkeeper, who seemed to be having the absolute game of his life. Then Argentina benefited from a disallowed goal. Egypt still managed to go up 2-0, and then watched Argentina claw back 3 goals in the final 20 minutes to what felt like they stole the win. This included a stoppage time winner where Egypt felt like they were harshly done by VAR and wanted the glass goal reviewed. There was also a penalty shout before their last game where McAllister seems to have pulled a Egypt player. This foul was also not reviewed by VAR. And then later, Egypt's coach, Egypt's manager, Hossam Hassan, did not mince his words. His quote were, we have been cheated unfairly today. We have suffered injustice. He straight up said he believed officials wanted to keep the world champions in the competition. This does not seem like somebody randomly spewing something on Twitter. It's a manager of a World Cup team that went on to say this at the World Cup. And that is exactly why this didn't just stay a one match story. Yeah, and next, I think this is the part of the story that almost nobody's talking about. And once you get it, the anger looks a lot less like an overreaction. For this tournament, FIFA fundamentally changed how the World Cup bracket works. Historically, the knockout path were almost shaped by luck of the draw. But for 2026, FIFA decided that the top 4 seeds, which were Argentina, Spain, France, and England, would be placed on completely separate pathways as long as they won their groups. They literally could not play each other until the semifinals, which is what's happening right now. FIFA's official line on this is competitive balance. They want to stop the tournament from losing two giants to each other in the round of 16. But to a neutral fan watching, where Argentina get a tight VAR call go their way a few days later, that same rulebook looks less like balance and more like a safety net for the sport's biggest moneymakers. Whether you think that's fair or not, the math seems to be the math. If you're a top 4 seed team, you are guaranteed a clear pathway that's away from the other 3 massive favorites for over a month. Now, looking at Argentina's route and how the neutrals feel like this is rigged, once you map it out, Argentina's actual path to the final looks like Cape Verde in the round of 16, Cape Verde in the round of 32, Egypt in the round of 16, and Switzerland in the quarterfinals. Look, let's be fair to the players, none of these were abused, right? Egypt pushed them to the absolute limit. They needed extra time in both their games against Cape Verde and Switzerland. Um, but this is exactly why the backlash deserves more credit than just sore fans crying about VAR. When a tournament favorite gets a bracket designed to avoid other giants until the final 4, and they survive their toughest test with a missed penalty, a disallowed goal for the opponent, and a no review on their own winning goal, that's not just one bad game. Most fans complaining online don't even know about the bracket rule. They just feel like something is off. Turns out, structurally, they're kind of right. And that shift in public opinion is a massive problem for the tournament's credibility, even if you can't prove a single decision was flat out wrong. But there's also an uncomfortable truth here. A big reason that Argentina's path is under this microscopic scrutiny is because other heavyweights like Uruguay and Portugal completely choked. If Uruguay had made it out of their group, instead of Cape Verde, they would have played Uruguay. And in the quarterfinal, instead of Switzerland, possibly Argentina could have played Portugal. And I think me, including everybody else, would have wanted to see this Messi versus Ronaldo quarterfinal. Having said that, though, the bracket rule wouldn't have changed, just the name on the screen. When other big nations fall apart early and all the fan frustration gets funneled in onto whoever's left standing, Argentina is benefiting from a mix of tournament math and other teams underperforming. But that nuance completely dies once it hits a 15-second clip with a conspiracy caption on TikTok. Here's the thing, it's not just with Argentina. What makes this bigger than just one team is that there are two other moments in this World Cup where things have gotten really messy. The first one, the more recent one, is the equalizer that England scored against Norway, where the ball seemed to have hit the spider cam wire. BBC's own 3D graphic shows that the path did change. FIFA then released a statement saying that there was no change in the ball's heartbeat, and therefore the goal should stand. Right? It's hard to accept that result when you look at Croatia against Portugal, where late in stoppage time, Croatia thought they had forced extra time through Guardiola, but VR ruled it out because a microscopic chip inside the ball detected a hair contact on the ball, right? The one other issue that I had with that was that FIFA only showed one spike throughout the whole sequence of play. They could have shown, multiple spikes in the ball, multiple spikes in that little graphic. When they make a graphic with just one little spike, you really question, did that ball really touch the hair, or is this just FIFA putting in a graphic to then favor another big team in the tournament, right? So it is very difficult to accept that a sensor in the ball can detect a microscopic touch from a hair, but when the ball seems to have changed trajectory with the spider cam, it doesn't detect anything. And it's not just the technology, it's the disciplinary decisions too, right? Cristiano Ronaldo got a straight red card in Portugal's final World Cup qualifier for an elbow, which meant he should have served a three-match ban. But, FIFA disciplinary committee used a loophole, making it so that he would be able to play their opener. And then midway through the tournament, USA's Balogun gets his red card waved off, right? FIFA say this was an independent decision from their disciplinary committee, but you have Donald Trump boasting about it all over Twitter the very same day, saying how, you know, the tackle should not have even been a foul in the first place. They should allow all the stars in the sport to participate, and it just seems like he made a phone call to Gianni Infantino, used his influence, had this red card overruled. And as viewers, I'm sure you can think of many other inconsistencies in this tournament, right? But here's just a few examples. With Argentina, it feels like the 50-50s keep going their way. You have Croatia, where the technology, even though it's technically correct, feels very annoying and very harsh on them. And then you have the same technology in the Norway England game that does not seem to work, and FIFA won't let anyone else check the receipts, right? So treating all three of these the same seems to be how we lose the plot. But trusting FIFA blindly also isn't the answer. Not when they are the judge, the jury, and the only ones holding the data. So let's get a straight answer. Is FIFA rigging matches for Argentina? No, I don't think so. There's no proof of that. And honestly, Messi missing a penalty in the Egypt game, I think is proof enough that there isn't some master script where everything goes perfectly for them. But is the fan backlash totally unjustified? Also, no. It's just that FIFA has built a bracket system that shields its biggest assets, and Argentina has benefited from tight decisions that just happen to fall their way. When you mix those two things together, you get the exact kind of fan mutiny we're seeing right now. The reaction isn't crazy, but I think we do have to be smarter than the internet comment sections because, you know, this tournament is starting to feel a bit too managed instead of being left to pure sport chaos, right? The absolute cinema. And when you run into a fan base that is paying close enough attention than ever before, people are going to start seeing patterns everywhere they look. Argentina might still go on and win the whole thing, but they'll have to do it as the team half the world is actively rooting against. Now, what do you guys think? Has the hate against Argentina gone too far, or are the fans totally right to be furious? And does Norway have a real case, or is Croatia's offside the only one that actually makes sense? Let me know in the comments below. I want to see where this discussion goes. I want to see how everybody's reacting to this World Cup. There is so much drama, there's so much distrust with FIFA. Let's see what we can do.